everybody, welcome to the news. Stay to the end to find out how we get there. So today we're talking about how to leverage reminders in the world of chaotic thinking. Oh yeah. So anyways, using reminders is like a way to just be able to ignore 80% of things that are out there, because ignoring is like a skill for trying to get to things that are sort of helpful in terms of business, in terms of leveraging like focus. Very thoroughly, it's a relevant item to be able to develop something called circle dynamics, or circle diagrams. After all, circle diagrams, which entail circuits, more or less like when circles become circuits, they are then active. It's like they're activated because they have the tools, they have the processes necessary. It's like if you make an application, like a simple version of like an acknowledgement is to go from an idea to like making a mobile application, which can be done on AI apparently very easily, to go into the Google App Store, for example, and then that is a closed loop, that is a circuit, that is something that has become alive and electrified because it can be on the market, it can be sold in the market. It started as an idea and then it can be sold as a market on the market. So then therefore you've got attention, and you've got everything on your attention, you've got everything in your business, you've got everything in your portfolio, which is basically everything in your attention, because everything is supposed to be geared towards making money after all, because that's the way this world operates after all. And so the basis of leveraging reminders corresponds to just the idea that chaos is just so everywhere in this world, meaning it's hard to focus because there's just so much happening. And like getting at the forefront of what's a best strategy, what's a best way to proceed in any given context, is a way to just, is a alignment with reminders. And having reminders is good to just be able to continue to make circle diagrams by being able to enhance reminders into the future. So like just alarms, reminders, whatever you want to call them, and especially artificial intelligence agents can help you to remember very finely, to also align with this task, to remember at any specific given moment in time, to get a specific reminder on a given thing. And it's very useful and interesting because after all, if you have things coming to you, like a phone call coming to you, then it's kind of better than having to remember everything at once all the time, which is what it's like trying to run some kind of an entity or business or what have you. And so if you pepper that into the future, then it's like something that kind of comes to you at later times that you can choose, and you use the longer term to be able to leverage the potential to just acknowledge your own attention and spread it out into different categories and avenues. On the other hand, you have circle diagrams, which in essence correspond to activated circuits. So those are activated circuits that are circles that are active basically, and the diagrams correspond to every single day as you continue to activate circles and go from potential to circuits, circle to circuits. I mentioned that a couple podcasts ago, but nonetheless, circle to circuits, meaning that like you have made an application and it's on the Google Play App Store. So therefore you've gone from idea, which is the potential, and then activated it in terms of the circuit and put it on the App Store in terms of the Google Play App Store, mobile App Store. So then therefore it's a circuit. So then therefore you've got to market that, you have to keep it alive, you have to keep that plate spinning, and to be able to kind of leverage that, it kind of comes down to being able to leverage a combination of continuous, consecutive, like sandwich making, crunch, in essence, crunchifying, like a junkyard car, like a car taken to a junkyard in essence, where it just gets crunched with a bunch of other cars, and you're stacking your mindsets in different ways so that you can deal with the future on an ongoing basis. And that's the nature of business. So having an ability to like set forth different titles for different stacks, like different sandwiches, different cookies, for example, that come together in the future, that is what the reminders are for. Because as you are evolving, as you continue to also, like if you continued, for example, to just talk about apps, if you light up like 10 apps in 1 week, if you start 10 apps in 1 week, then all of those contextually align with each other in the future of your portfolio, and how to manage your portfolio corresponds to the story that you're telling with every single app that you're adding. So when you go from 10 apps to 11 apps to 12 apps to 13 apps, it's a different story every time. And so it's just kind of like this, it's a different story of the brand is evolving, and so it's like you're adding another car to the junkyard pile of junkyard cars. And so this is what circle diagrams tends to correspond to, is continuing to use reminders into the future to continue to make different, like, sandwiches or cookies or whatever you want to call them, cars of stacked junkyard cars that in essence, like, you're stacking together to constantly make continuous different products, and you're stacking those in the future with depictions of what your company is evolving into, which corresponds to not exactly like this podcast and myself with Dinky T Change for Games and Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios, but something more that has to do with the future, leveraging reminders to live in the future, to try to live in the future by making these cookies, these junkyard cars smashed up, new items of past junkyard cars, and then new junkyard cars from the past and the present, and then also in the future as they continue to smash with other cars as you continue to make new, we'll just call them mobile applications for the Google Play Store, for example. So as you can continue to do them, then your portfolio evolves, your company evolves, the personality of your company evolves with every game that you put into the App Store, for example. And there are different functionalities, different audiences that you're reaching out to. So it's just a singular example of different facets and aspects of tools that you're putting out into the world through, like, in this instance, as the most simplified example, Google Play applications for the mobile phone, mobile applications for the Google Play Store. And so in an alignment like that's just you're trying to use reminders to be able to recontextualize the evolution before it actually comes with all of the given conceptual circles and circuits, meaning just the circuits in essence, like, which is, an electrified circle, to then therefore contextualize how to repurpose whatever the past circuits and circles are in the past, of the past potential that's been fulfilled, to continue to market a brand that revolves around a truest alignment with the nature of what it is that all of these stacked junkyard cars are representing as they continue to stack new representations of junkyard cars, after all, into new constant, evolutions of whatever that is, and then making a depiction similar to this podcast, kind of, except this podcast doesn't always include past podcasts. So it's not like it's not recontextualizing it into something new based on whatever's happened in the past. And that's what I'm talking about today, being able to use the power of doing that in the future. Also, something we came up with today is doing like 10-minute sounds, 10-minute songs. We're going to try to do 10-minute songs, and also try to reach out to influencers, in an ideal sense, reach out to influencers and try to like collaborate like somewhat on a song and make them like an e-commerce store, and then also try to make them a Google Play application, and then also leverage AI to do digital marketing with and for them, for example, to try to do that as a strategy where we're actually hiring them to in essence activate, like having a white label marketing agency where the marketing agency actually activates the circle to happen where they are activating and marketing the marketing agency that they are fulfilling to when they are doing marketing for marketing services. So on the back end, when clients come in to be serviced for marketing, that the actual fulfillment happens from the marketing agency at the same time. So we're trying to do the same thing by hiring, not collaborating, but hiring influencers to kick off the campaign by kicking off the interest through their audience when we contextualize making for influencers an e-commerce store, a song that we collaborate on, because we're just going to give them equity basically, and that's how we're going to hire them, is by making the goods and services, getting their approval that it meets their style, their criteria, their brand, their personality, making the goods and services up front, asking them if they just want to partner and just basically take half of the money potentially, and then just stack up the goods, have a coaching product through the Google Play App Store, having a e-commerce store that's similar to Supreme and Palace, which is like making, combined merchandise, and then at the same time we'll make a song and collaborate on that as well if they want to take credit for it, ideally. And then so they're just getting free equity in those things by helping us to we hire them at first to push off and develop a plate that spins 3 plates at the same time by pushing off, spinning 3 plates, and then they start to advertise and just tell their audience about those things that we made in essence, and then ideally that the wheel can continue to spin because we can collab on the coaching side with them, we can collab on the e-commerce store side with them, and ideally in a music sense that they're a musical brand and personality influencer type of a vibe to begin with. So hopefully they can stand behind some of the IP, the intellectual property that we bring in their direction. And so yeah, we're just trying to crunch and munch a bunch of junkyard cars from the past into the past, present, and future, going forward in an ideal sense, trying to think with this mindset and methodology, because everything is madness as everything's constantly evolving in evolution. So trying to set reminders for prioritization of how to try to pass checkpoints similar to a video game, if you will, into the future is how to, one of the little additional ways to leverage artificial intelligence to set little reminders for you as you add or talk to your agents, your AI agents on whatever platform you're using these days. But that's about all for now. Hopefully this wasn't too confusing, even though it's probably sort of confusing as I was speaking it. It sounds pretty strange and confusing a little bit, I would think. So anyways, that's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky T, Change for Games, Dinky Tech, and Change for Game Studios. Bye, peace, bye. And let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's push for world peace every single day. And also, let's remember to try to clear the animal shelters. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world, because we can foster all the shelter animals. We can adopt all the shelter animals in the world. We can rescue all the shelter animals in the world. And we can also hire the shelter animals as healers. We can also hire the shelter animals as healers all throughout the world so that they don't have to be mistreated in animal shelters. And we can clear the animal shelters, and we can hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities. Hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities, because they also work for free and they could use better purpose and use better jobs and be able to add value and be therapeutic energy for humans and humanity, to help us be more harmonious as humans and among humanity for all the animals in the world, to clear all the animal shelters, to try to get them to transition their energy in terms of therapeutic energy to all humans, so we can clear the animal shelters to add value to humanity in terms of harmony if possible. And let's push for world peace every single day and clear the animal shelters every day. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.